On August 19, 2024, the disappearance of Christiana Idowu, a bright and promising university student, set off a chain of events that would captivate and horrify the nation. When Christiana's body was found buried in the backyard of a trusted family friend, Ayomide Adeleye, the case took a dark and unexpected turn. This documentary explores the events surrounding Christiana's disappearance, her family's desperate attempts to bring her home, and the ultimate betrayal of trust that led to her untimely death. Please kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel to support us. Christiana Idowu was a 21-year-old student at the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta Funaab, known for her academic dedication, bubbly personality, and strong family ties. Born into a loving family, Christiana had always been an ambitious and determined young woman. In 2024, she was completing her mandatory industrial training in Lagos, hoping to gain practical experience before graduating. She had a promising future ahead of her, and her disappearance was an unimaginable blow to her family and community. On the morning of August 19, 2024, Christiana left home to head to her industrial training assignment in Yaba, Lagos. It was a regular workday, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Her family expected her to return later in the evening, but when Christiana didn't come home, they immediately knew something was wrong. Her phone had gone silent, and repeated calls went unanswered. Fearing the worst, her family reached out to friends, colleagues, and local authorities. Posters and online messages flooded social media, with pleas for help from anyone who might have seen or heard from Christiana. But as hours turned into days, hope began to fade. 3 days after her disappearance, Christiana's family received a chilling message from her phone. The sender claimed that Christiana had been kidnapped and demanded a ransom of N1 million, approximately $1,300 USD. Along with the message came a once photo of Christiana, tied up and visibly distressed, to prove the seriousness of the threat. The message left the family in turmoil. In a state of panic, they scrambled to raise as much money as they could, but were only able to gather $350,000. The kidnapper insisted that the money be transferred to a betting platform account, a chilling clue that would later aid in the investigation. The ransom was paid, but the family still did not hear from Christiana. Days passed, and when the kidnapper suddenly ceased all communication, the family feared the worst. As the police investigation ramped up, they tracked the phone number and the betting account linked to the ransom payment. The investigation led them to Ayomide Adeleye, a 200-level student at Olabisi Onabanjo University, Owu. Shockingly, Ayomide was no stranger to Christiana. He was a close family friend, a fellow church member, and someone she had known for years. This revelation shocked not only the family but the entire community. How could someone so close to Christiana be responsible for such a heinous act? Ayomide, under police interrogation, initially denied any involvement, but the evidence quickly mounted. His phone records, social media activity, and connections to the ransom payments all pointed to his guilt. Eventually, Ayomide confessed to the crime, admitting that he had not only kidnapped Christiana but also killed her shortly after her abduction. Following Ayomide's confession, police searched his family home in Eru, Lagos, and made a gruesome discovery. In a shallow grave in the backyard, they found Christiana's body, buried in an attempt to conceal the crime. The autopsy confirmed that she had been killed long before the ransom was demanded, and her murder was part of a premeditated plan. The discovery was devastating. Christiana's family, who had been holding on to the hope that she might still be alive, were left heartbroken. The community mourned, and outrage spread as the shocking details of the case emerged. The investigation revealed that Ayomide's motive for the crime was not purely financial. It was suspected that he had a personal vendetta or was driven by dark and twisted desires. Some reports suggested that Ayomide had a history of violence, and troubling rumors emerged about his possible involvement in the disappearance of other young women. Social media played a pivotal role in the investigation. After Ayomide's arrest, internet sleuths began to dig into his past, uncovering disturbing social media posts that hinted at a violent and troubled personality. One particular post from 2018 gained attention, in which Ayomide cryptically referenced causing harm to someone close to him. These findings led many to believe that Christiana's murder was not an isolated incident, but rather the culmination of a deeper, more sinister pattern of behavior. The murder of Christiana Idowu sent shockwaves through Nigeria, particularly among her peers and within the university community. Social media campaigns calling for justice quickly gained traction, with hashtags like Justice for Christiana trending as people demanded swift legal action against Ayomide Adeleye. Vigils were held in Christiana's memory, and her family continued to push for a full investigation into Ayomide's background and possible involvement in other crimes. Many in the community questioned how Ayomide had been able to carry out such a horrific crime without raising suspicion. Some speculated that his family might have been aware of his actions, given that Christiana's body had been buried in their backyard. However, no evidence emerged linking Ayomide's family members to the crime, and they maintained their innocence throughout the investigation. As of the release of this documentary, Ayomide Adeleye is awaiting trial for the abduction, murder, and attempted extortion of Christiana Idowu's family. The legal proceedings have drawn widespread media attention, with many hoping that justice will be served swiftly. Christiana's family remains steadfast in their desire for accountability, not just for their daughter's murder, but also for any other victims who may have fallen prey to Ayomide's violent tendencies. The tragic case of Christiana Idowu has sparked a broader conversation in Nigeria about the safety of young women, the importance of trusting one's instincts, and the role of law enforcement in preventing such crimes. There has been a renewed call for more stringent penalties for kidnapping and murder, as well as for improved community-based policing to prevent similar tragedies from occurring. This case also serves as a reminder that predators can lurk in unexpected places, even among those we consider friends and family. Christiana's death highlights the need for vigilance and awareness in a society where trust can sometimes be weaponized against the most vulnerable. The life of Christiana Idowu was one filled with promise, potential, and hope. Her senseless murder at the hands of someone she trusted has left a permanent scar on her family and community. While the search for justice continues, her memory lives on in the hearts of those who loved her. As we reflect on this tragic case, we are reminded of the importance of justice, community, and the vigilance needed to protect our loved ones. Christiana's story is not just a cautionary tale, it is a call to action for a safer and more just world. This documentary stands as a tribute to Christiana's life and a solemn reminder of the dangers of misplaced trust. Her story will not be forgotten, and the fight for justice in her name will continue. As we conclude, let us remember Christiana and all the victims of similar tragedies. Support local efforts to protect women and vulnerable communities by staying informed, reporting suspicious behavior, and advocating for stronger legal protections. Together, we can work toward a future where no family has to endure the heartache that Christiana's loved ones have faced.